How'd you like to finish the college basketball season paying under $30 per week? Between now and Selection Sunday on March 12th, there's still tons of regular season college basketball action to go. Plus, all the conference tournaments and Wager Talk and Sports Medal are announcing their March Madness Bonanza special that will include the rest of the college basketball regular season, conference tournaments, NCAA tournament through the national championship, and any plays released in the NIT or CBI tournaments. That's right, from Monday, February 27th through Monday, April 3rd, there are 5 full weeks of hoops action, which breaks down to under $30 per week. Sign up for this promotion now on your favorite handicapper's homepage and get the rest of the college basketball season through the national championship in Houston on Monday, April 3rd, plus all non-March Madness tourneys, including the NIT and CBI, all for only $149. That's under $5 a day for one of the best betting experiences in sports. Some call March Madness the most exciting time in sports betting, so act fast as the March Madness Bonanza special is only available for a limited time. Grab your favorite college basketball handicapper, or perhaps add 2 or 3 college hoops experts to make this March Madness not only exciting, but also profitable. No coupon is needed, just head to the homepage of the handicapper of choice and lock the $149 price in now. As the earlier you sign up, the more days you receive.
Happy Monday, guys, and welcome in right here to Wager Talk TV. You're watching Puck Time, of course, and I'm Andrew McGinnis. I have Carmine Bianco with me, just the two of us for today's show here on a Monday. Of course, it is also $9 Monday. Every single play available and up right now at wagertalk.com, available for $9. That does include 5% plays as well, and some plays that might be going on tomorrow or the next day, all just $9. Of course, we do have our discounted code for our NHL season still available for one final day here. That code is PT100. That'll take $100 off a full season pass with the NHL, as well as the playoffs and any futures that we do release. So any of you guys out there that are interested, just want to start the show off by letting you know that promo is good for just one more day. That's PT100 to take $100 off. I wanted to thank the guys that filled in for me while I was away. Of course, Carmine for holding the ship down for me. It seemed like some great shows that took place, but it's good to be back here on the show with you, Carm. How are things, man?
Things are good, Andrew. It was a quiet weekend for me. It didn't really do much. Watched a lot of sports, soccer and hockey. Yesterday was a good day all around. 4-0 in soccer, 4-1 in NHL. So it's always good to start your week off with a good day. But Andrew, ask me, ask me how the 6 and 60 went on Saturday.
I was going to ask you anyway. I don't know. How did it go? How was it?
I said at some point I'm going to sweep the 6 and 60, and I swept. The only problem is it swept the other way around.
Oh,
I think they were all wrong. The 6 and 60 is what I'm saying. I didn't think that was possible. It's just as hard to go 6-0 apparently as it is to go 0-6. I'm watching some of these games and I'm just like, you got to be shitting me or whatever, right? So instead of taking the Bruins in regulation, which I gave to my clients on the 6 and 60, was the Bruins game over the total. And Vancouver decides to play some defense and can't score any goals. I think it finishes 3-1. It was just a cluster F of you know what. So we'll leave it at that. I'll apologize. I'll snag a couple names out of our live chat today and tomorrow, and I'll get them shirts as well too, because I've got to send all of them out. So we'll give away a couple shirts. It doesn't make it any better, but
hey, let's not forget though.
Much better.
You've had some 4-2 weeks. You've had some 5-1 weeks. So let's not act like this is a common occurrence here. It's going to happen. You're doing it every single week, brother. So
I hold myself to a higher standard. I have to go. I say to myself each and every 6 and 60 week, let me go 4-2. Because anyone, even round robin, doing those round robin things is going to make a little bit of money. Even if you play them single, you're going to make a little bit of money. So, I hate using that. It is what it is, but it is what it is. Anyway,
what I like better than it is what it is the past.
I'm glad you had. Yeah, I'm glad you had a good time in Montreal, man. It sounded like you had a blast. I'm not sure how much hockey other than the Montreal Canadian game you got to see, but Linus Ullmark scores a goal. The goalie from Boston, who's having a fantastic season, scores a goal. You know that goal puts him 12th on the Montreal scoring list this season. You know that? If you took his
Probably
one
does.
goal, he's 12th on the Montreal Canadiens scoring thing this season. I know I'm having a little bit of fun with you, but I think it's because my Sabres are yeah, I don't actually own the Sabres, but the team I cheer for are playing some damn good hockey when I thought that they were about to go through a rough schedule, which they're at the beginning of, but they're winning games and they smacked around Ovi and the boys, which I loved even more.
If the Sabres make the playoffs, I'm cheering for them. If the Ottawa Senators somehow make the playoffs, I'll go crazy cheering for them. But I want to see some. I want to see some wild card stretches that are actually exciting, and hopefully, guys, like Carmen I mentioned last week, we will keep you updated on the standings and the wild card chases because it definitely does impact your handicap when you're breaking down these games, 100%. But as we know, Carmen, the top six is pretty much solidified in the
Yeah.
NHL as far as the Eastern Conference is concerned. But that wild card race is going to be extremely exciting and to watch. And yeah, man, as far as my trip, look, I went up there. It was for a birthday weekend for a buddy. He was an Ottawa Senators fan. So maybe the Montreal Canadiens decided to stop playing in the third period because they knew it was my friend's birthday. I'm not really sure what it was, but 2-1 going to the third period, and I lose 5-2. Anybody that would have seen my face at that game would have had a good laugh at me. I was not happy. But the drinks make it a little more fun. And of course, when you're in Montreal, you have a good time. Anybody out there from the States, you want to come to Canada, Toronto is a great time too, but Montreal is a great city to visit, great party city, and a good place to have some fun. We need to get gambling there, though, man. We need to get some sports books here in Canada, and then that can probably attract some of the audience in our neck of the woods, Carm. But today's show, we're going to break down Wings, Sens, Canucks, Stars, Bruins, Oilers, and the Golden Knights taking on the Colorado Avalanche. Let's start things off with our very first game. The Red Wings visiting the aforementioned Ottawa Senators in the nation's capital. We have Ottawa minus 135, Detroit plus 115. If you want the puck line, that minus 1.5 is listed at plus 180. Total, of course, featuring these two teams is listed at 6.5 goals. Carter, start things off right here with you. What do you think here? Two teams, of course, fighting for a wild card spot, and two teams that have certainly made big improvements this year compared to last.
Yeah, definitely. Ultimately now, when you're talking about there's going to be, the top six are pretty much set, and we're going to have that seventh and eighth. There's going to be some very relevant games, and games like this, where these are 4-point games. They're a team that is either directly in front of you or directly behind you, or right behind you in the playoff race, and you need to pick up points. This is the first of two games. They're playing tomorrow night in Ottawa as well too. It is a makeup of one of the earlier this winter or whatever, the postponed games with all the snowstorms and what have you. So these two teams are going to play back to back tonight and tomorrow in Ottawa. So it'll be interesting. The thing is, Andrew, I like Ottawa here, but I can make cases for Detroit. This is one of the tough things about it, and it's one of those things where sometimes I'll look at whoever wins tonight and I'll go the other way tomorrow and think that they're going to split. Husso played great against Tampa Bay, but Tampa breaks that streak that Detroit had going. But Husso had I think he only had 17 shots on goal. Tampa only had 17 shots on goal, and they win that game. I think it was 3-0. One was an empty netter. They fired so many shots at Vasilevsky, but he absolutely owns Detroit, that franchise. He played absolutely phenomenal. And then, the thing that scares me is the Talbot thing. Talbot comes back, plays after that injury. Didn't look good in the first 10 minutes or so against Carolina. I think he allowed a couple goals on the first, 3 or 4 shots in that game, the first 5 minutes or so. But he settled in after that. But the thing is, where is he as far as health-wise? That's the thing that scares me. I don't think they would rush him back. There were talks about Talbot being someone that Ottawa could trade. People are looking for goalies before this March 3rd deadline, which is, I think, this Friday. I still like Ottawa here. They're playing, Andrew. They're playing well. I just think that Ottawa takes the opener, and then I might lean to going Detroit tomorrow. I just like the way Ottawa's playing. I like the way Ottawa plays at home, and the guys, their big guys, are all starting to play well. DeBrincat, Brady Tkachuk, they're all playing so much better. And Stützle. So these are guys that I'm going to look at some shot props with these guys as well tonight too. I think we're going to see some shots on goal as well too from the Sens. Sens are playing well. I'm going to take the Sens tonight at a buy low price of 135.
It definitely is a reasonable number there on them. That's for sure. They're at the 135 price. And I agree. This is definitely a rock solid game as far as these shots on goal are concerned. I had my eye on Stützle as well. I see him listed at 2.5. It's up to minus 140. But he's hit that prop in 8 of his last 10 games. And you and I talk about, of course, there are players that hit this, the 4.5 or the 3.5. But it's really nice when you can find a guy at the 2.5 number that really can get it done on a consistent and regular basis, especially somebody that plays such big minutes on the power play, on the top 6 pairings and stuff like that, and is consistently someone that I wouldn't really call Stützle a playmaker. I'm not saying he hogs the puck, but he definitely has that shoot first mentality, which is certainly something you want when you're betting a player prop like him. So he's somebody I have circled for tonight. And as far as Ottawa and that goaltending situation, I do agree with you on that. And that kind of does worry me a little bit here. What I kind of wanted to look at was just Ottawa actually in the first period to come out super strong. To me, Detroit actually has taken a while for them to settle into their games. And Ottawa, I think they really want to get off to a good start, because if you look at their last game, the game that I was actually attending, their best period was their third period. And I've noticed that as of late with this Ottawa Senators team, they haven't really had the best starts to their games. They seem to get better as the game progresses. And that's a really good, nod to the coaches. DJ Smith, what he's doing over there in the locker room between periods, what he's saying to those players, Carm. But I'm going to go with Ottawa in the first period. I also have that Tim Stützle player prop locked in. Keep in mind for this Ottawa Senators team as well with their travel. They were traveling a tiny bit, but realistically, Ottawa or Montreal back to Ottawa isn't much of a travel issue. So that's not really something that I'm too concerned about. But I'll tell you what, Carm, I got to shout out to Johnny Detroit, because I tweeted out a clip from Wager Talk today, or Puck Time, and he just replies 2 letters, N-O. And that was me fading the Red Wings. And of course I lost. So I don't really like going against this Red Wings team right now. My track record isn't very good, but I do think it's a good spot here for the Sens. But I'll say my play for the show is actually going to be that Tim Stützle shots on goal prop.
Yeah, I just got a message from Johnny. He'd like you to report to HR at the end of the show. So if you could go and see him, he would appreciate that. And, the thing with but all joking aside, the thing with the Senators is, like, even if you look at segments of their schedule, their last 10 games, they are 6-4. Their losses are against really good teams, with the exception of one, but they lose to Carolina. They lose to the Boston Bruins, both on the road. They lose to the Edmonton Oilers. Their one game that went to OT that they lost was to the Chicago Blackhawks. So that's probably a point lost, because you want to be winning those games. But they're winning the other games, Andrew. So they're accumulating points, which is why they pulled themselves into this playoff race. But they can't afford to drop both these games. If they lose both these games, they pretty much could turn out to be a seller at the trade deadline with a couple of their guys, and maybe Talbot, if Talbot has a good game, if he plays tonight or he plays tomorrow, we'll have to see who they confirm. If he has a good game, maybe someone is willing to give up something draft pick wise for Talbot and gamble on Talbot, even in a backup role for the team. Let's not forget this guy. This guy was good for the Minnesota Wild, so he's not chopped liver by any means. But when you're winning games, it doesn't matter against who. It's always a scary proposition to try and go against a team like that. That winning mentality, and these guys, they're going to go out there and they're going to play tonight. So I'm looking forward to this game.
And it always is cool seeing these back-to-backs, home and homes, and you kind of can base your opinion on the second game on what you saw there in the first contest. Let's keep this show on the road here with the next game. Vancouver visiting Dallas, taking on the Stars here. Dallas minus 275, Vancouver plus 225, puck line minus 1.5, pretty much even money there for the Stars. Total at 6, minus 120 there. And Carm, look, there's something that's very simple about this Vancouver Canucks team right now. 14 of their 16 games in February have gone over the total. 8 of their last 10 games have gone over the total. Every single one of these Vancouver games that we see, in my opinion, should have a 6.5 next to the number as far as the total is concerned. I don't care if you're playing the New York Islanders from the 80s. This is a team that strings everybody into an over type of game. And then you look at their injury list, and you've got some key defensemen that are out for them, that have been out for them for a while. You know, one good thing about Dallas, taking a look at those injury reports, they're not injured at all. They're a very healthy lineup. Here's what I'll say real quick. I think that Dallas is a team that they will not fall victims to a quote-unquote flat spot against a bad team. Dallas went through a really rough stretch of 4 or 5 games losing to teams that they should not lose to. I'm talking about Columbus, Chicago, you know, teams like that they should certainly be at least competing against, and losing 4-1 to Columbus is not good enough. So it's very easy for me to come on here and say, yes, Dallas should beat Vancouver, take Dallas in here and there. But you know what? This is a Dallas team at home that I think will give us a focused effort tonight, and we will see a good effort out of them. I think Dallas in regulation is the way to look here. Right now, I think Vancouver's given up far too many goals. And as far as the Dallas Stars are concerned, their defense should take care of business against them. And I know you mentioned Vancouver's defense there against Boston that weekend, but to me, that's kind of how Boston plays. They have no problem winning 3-1. I feel like when Dallas has an outburst, they could win this one 5-2, 4-1, something like that. So I'll take Dallas here tonight, Carm. It's a big price. I'll turn it into regulation, and hopefully they get it done for me at home. What are your thoughts here in this matchup?
Yeah, I could pretty much echo everything you said, but I'm going to steal some of your I picked up a lot of info on and winning these player props from info that you've given me on how to break some of these down. And I'm looking at the Dallas team total in this game instead of the over, because I don't know what I'm going to get from Vancouver. But first of all, that game in the Dallas game in Vegas was a phenomenal game. If you didn't see that game, Ottinger was unbelievable. He stops 41 of 43 shots. It's the second time, I think, this season where he's faced over 40 shots on goal. One was against Washington, where he stopped like 45 of 46. He kept them in that game to lose, and Dallas somehow pulled it out, and they win that game in OT. And sometimes, Andrew, when you're playing bad, they say, and you have to talk, they lost to Chicago, they lost to Columbus at home, they lost to the Stars. Sometimes you have to hit the road, and they hit the road, they win a game, and maybe that kick starts their season, because you look at some of their games that they have coming up, and this is the perfect time for Dallas to put together a 4 or 5 game win streak. They play Vancouver tonight, then they have Arizona coming to Dallas, they have Chicago Blackhawks coming to Dallas, or not, before they got Colorado and Calgary coming to town. So they very easily could have a 4 game win streak before Colorado comes to town, and I think they will have. You look at the Vancouver things, Colin Delea in goal, 9-1 to the over the last 10 games with this guy in net for Vancouver. He's allowed in his last 4 games 4 more goals, and in 3 of those he's allowed 5 or more goals. And this is why the team total is the play for me. 3.5 minus 145. You got to lay some juice, but if you like the over, it's in this game. The scoring's coming from Dallas in this game, not from Vancouver. Over 3.5 minus 145 team total for me in this one.
Honestly, Carm, for a team that's going up against Vancouver, that's a pretty good price for a 3.5 team total. From what they've showed us, for how many goals they give up, and you take away that Boston Bruins game, and prior to that, they're giving up lots of goals. So definitely like that play there with the team total. Just another way to get rid of that minus 275 price tag. And You think back to a couple years ago, these team totals and regulations and first period puck lines, nobody was talking about that kind of stuff. And now there are lots of different ways to avoid, beating up your bankroll by losing a minus 275 like this. And, Carm, I know we have to get to the other games, but I wanted to say,
we're good.
Well, we're going into the game that we're actually going. You know what? We're going into the Boston Bruins and Oilers right now. So I was just about to talk to them. So we'll get into it.
Yeah. But before that, I'm just going to say, because someone put in our live chat, what's he stealing from Andrew? No, Andrew at times during the season, if you've watched the shows, when he looks at the total, and he likes the over, but he's not sure if he's going to get scoring from both teams, he will key in on one team and take the team total. And this is exactly what I'm doing. I'm not sold on taking the over in the game, even though I think it'll get there. But I think we're gonna get enough scoring from Dallas that we should get over the at least the team total of and Dallas gets 4. So that's what I'm stealing his thought process is what I'm doing. I'm getting into Andrew's head.
Hey, sometimes it's a fun place to be. Sometimes I don't know if you want to be in there, but hey, we have winners in there sometimes, Carmen. Tonight, speaking of winners, the Edmonton Oilers and their team total. I'm going to break this down on Wager Talk today, but really quick. I mean, Carmen, have you seen? I know I've talked about this like so many times, but they're plus 120 tonight. Boston minus 140 here on their road trip. But it's just getting ridiculous how many times this team is either in a game where they win or even in a game where they lose and they still cover their team total. It's really unbelievable. I mean, they lose to the Blue Jackets 6-5, but they cover their team total. Prior to that, against the Penguins, they put up 7. They put up 4 against the Oilers. They lose to the Avalanche 6-5, but they cover their team total. It's just getting ridiculous at this point where you're such a talented team. It's kind of like in certain sports like the NBA and baseball, you kind of set a certain number where, okay, if we score 210 points tonight, we should be able to win this game and limit our opponent to less than that. What is going on in the coach's locker room right now, in the coach's room, when they're saying, we're scoring 5 goals and losing games, Carm? What can they possibly say? I mean, there's no way that the forwards could be getting in trouble. Of course, they still have to play defense and back check as well. But if anybody needs to make a splash at the deadline for a defenseman, it's the Edmonton Oilers.
Yes, you are correct. And you know who that's going to be? It's if San Jose is willing to move him, or Andrew, they can work out the money. How about Erik Karlsson? Now, I think you can look at it, he's more of an offensive defenseman.
Yeah, that's the thing.
But this is what this team is. Like, I have one beef about the Edmonton Columbus game that I'm going to mention now. I think it's one of the dumbest rules in hockey. Like, Skinner comes into the game after Jack Campbell gets lit up for 4, and it's 4-0 in that game. Edmonton comes back but never takes the lead. It was 4-4 at one point. And now Jack Campbell's no longer the goalie of record. Skinner's the goalie of record. So they lose 6-5 and he gets saddled with the loss. I'm sorry, but the guy who allowed 4 goals in the game is the guy who should be saddled with the loss. Oh, yeah, old man yelling at it's what I do, man. It's a dumb rule. Jack Campbell should have got that loss pinned on him. But with that said, where are we here? Our producers killing me, man.
Well, look, the Bruins are on this road trip, right? What do you think they're going to just cruise through this West Coast road trip, or is it a spot that they could be a little bit flat in here?
Well,
it's hard to fade the Bruins.
This is the first.
Anytime.
It's the first of a. It's hard to fade the Bruins because you look at. If I saw Swayman in goal tonight, I would take the over and I would take Edmonton, and not because Swayman's a bad goalie, but. It's probably a game in Edmonton that I would want to take the Oilers at plus money. You don't get them very often at plus money, but Allmark's like 30 wins, 4 losses, 2 OT losses, a 186 average, 938 save percentage. How do you fade a guy like that when he's in goal? It's just, if the Bruins come to play tonight, it's going to be a high scoring game and we'll see how it shakes out. But I'm going to wait to see on the goaltenders on this one. I think if it's Swayman tonight and Allmark tomorrow in Calgary, then I'll likely take the Bruins tomorrow on the second of a back-to-back because I don't think they're going to lose both games in Alberta. With that said, I'm leaning to the over here, but I'm waiting to see who the goalies are. I don't care who Edmonton's goalie is. I don't care if it's Skinner, Campbell, Grant Fuhr. It doesn't matter to me. I want to see who's in goal for the Bruins. This Bruins team even improved. They got Orlov from Washington. They're going to be a scary team in the playoffs. But with that said, I'm waiting for the goalies. If it's Swayman, I'm taking the over.
Well, speaking of the playoffs, it's crazy to see right now how much better the Eastern Conference is than the West, and I've been saying that for a little while now. But it's come, even more over the past few trades that we've seen in the trade deadline. Of course, coming close here, and all the final trades will be made very, very soon. But I'll look towards the over here, over 6.5. I think that the Bruins, coming off that game against Vancouver, a team that doesn't really produce much offense. Well, you know what? The Oilers do produce offense. Their biggest problem is just their defense. They're not going to be intimidated, I don't think, by the Boston Bruins decor. They're going to probably be intimidated by what the Bruins can do back to them. I'm not saying the Bruins aren't a good defensive team, but the Oilers have proven to be a consistent offensive, firepower. But I just don't really think that we're going to be able to see either team hold on to each other and actually be able to play a defensive game. So over 6.5 for me at -120, I think is a great call. And if there's ever a game to look at for some shots on goal props and stuff like that, this one might be the one as well, and some different goal scoring props and things like that.
And I'm glad that you mentioned it, right? So I'm glad that you mentioned that because sometimes when we break down some of these games or we look at some of these games, I know if you're watching the show now live or you're watching the video later once it's posted, you're like, why didn't he just give us a play on the game? It is, if I'm not putting my money on it, I'm not going to tell you to put your money on it. It's the dumbest thing. So sometimes, as you mentioned, Andrew, a better option is to look at some shot props in the game and see if you can find something there. Sometimes it's a complete pass, but this is probably one of those games where if you think it's going to be a higher scoring game, and most Oiler games are like that in Edmonton, is those shot props. So I'll probably look at some of those shot props, and I'll tell you right now, I have a shot prop, but it'll be the show best bet.
All right, we'll find out in a short period of time here. We have one more game to look at, my buy and sell segment, and of course, then the best bet segment. Just a reminder once again, guys, if you want an NHL season pass from any of us here at wagertalk.com that handicaps the NHL, use that promo code PT100. Take $100 off. And now is really the time. I think we're starting to release some different futures and figure out our buy and sell teams that we're looking at. And for me anyway, the volume starts to ramp up around this time of year. Whereas earlier in the year, I'm kind of playing it slow, playing the slow game and just one or two plays a night. But that will certainly be changing after the trade deadline. Let's not forget about one last game here that's really, really strong. Colorado playing host to the Vegas Golden Knights. Colorado -140 here. Vegas +120. Total at 6, shaded towards the under in this one. Colorado, they're heating up. They're getting healthier. They're getting production from their top guys here, Carm. Meanwhile, Vegas, they've still, to me, been an up and down team coming off a crazy game, as you mentioned. What are your thoughts here in this game?
Yeah, this is one of those games, Andrew. It is sometimes it defies logic on what I'm going to go with here, because you look at Colorado, and listen, I have Colorado futures. When I saw them 9-1 when I was in Vegas during the NFL playoffs at Caesars, I'm like, I got to take them at 9-1. This is a team that was like plus 450 coming in, and they'll eventually get healthy. Obviously, I want Landeskog back and Makar healthy, but this team has strung together wins, and it's 5 in a row now, and it's with the lineup that isn't 100% healthy and winning games. But then I look at like that game in Vegas, and I'm telling you, it was Vegas's game to lose, but Dallas stole that game from them. But Vegas is playing well. Their last 10 games, they are what, 6-3-1, 3 OT losses in that stretch. They're playing some very good hockey as well too. And Aiden Hill is a guy who everyone just feels this guy is a backup goalie. But Andrew, this guy is having I think he's having a very good season. If you look at it, he's 14-5 with a 2.55 goals against average, 908 save percentage. He's having a very good season. And even when he played for Arizona, He played well there for a team that didn't have a lot of offensive pop to it. And he was in net for a lot of low-scoring games. He had a very good average. So um, Vegas is one of those teams where they can lose at home and then they go to the road and in Colorado, and they've done it before and they win. I'm taking Vegas with the plus money tonight. I think they're going to go to Colorado and win tonight. I think off that game, I'm not worried about that loss to Dallas. That was they played phenomenal. If they played flat, it was one thing. They had 43 shots on goal. Oettinger stood on his head, or else we'd be talking about a winning streak for the Vegas Golden Knights going into Colorado. So I'm good with taking Vegas plus 120 here.
And as far as the standings right now, looking at the Avalanche with 71 points, of course, the Golden Knights with 76. Both teams playing for certain positions in their divisions and, trying to leapfrog their way to the top. And I think trying to, for Vegas Golden Knights, maintain their position as to where they are because, you're either the hunted or you're the one doing the hunting. I think both these teams are kind of in different positions as far as that's concerned. But as you mentioned there, this is a Colorado team that is trying to make those moves, whereas Vegas has already been there. They've already been at the top. They're sitting atop of there. But this is the thing with me. I always talk about depth and how important it is, Carm, and I will stick to my guns as far as I still think that is a really important factor in hockey. You saw the Tampa Bay Lightning this morning. They just traded a boatload of players and picks for Tanner Janot, a player that nobody knew would be worth that much, but he's a depth player and a physical player. Depth does matter, but the reason why I'm saying that, when Colorado has their guys like McKinnon and Rantanen, both of them on, I think, scored 5 goals each over this winning streak that they're on, or 4 goals, and the way that they're playing, I don't really want to go against them, especially with how they've played at home. Vegas is a good road team. But I will lean towards the home team. So we are head-to-head on this one. But I do think that Vegas being off that weird loss will motivate them. But I don't want to go against Colorado right now at this moment. But it should be a good game.
Okay. I'm fine with that. If you don't listen, there's got to be at least one game every show that you and I go against each other or mano a mano on it. So we'll see. I just think Delia's been good in net. I think he stamped himself as a guy who should be a starter in goal for Vegas. I think at the very least. So we'll see what happens tonight, and then we'll discuss it on tomorrow's show. But with that said, we got to get to the buy and sell segment because I'm anxious to hear who you're buying and selling this week.
Nice. All right, guys, this is the buy and sell segment. Of course, every single week I try and find a team to buy and bet on and a team to sell and bet against. And let's start things off with the buy segment here. Look, I could easily come on here every single week and pick one of the best teams in the entire league and say, yeah, let's keep on betting with them. But I think that would not be as fun. We have to find some different teams each week, look at their schedules, look at how they're playing. For me this week, my bet on team is the Washington Capitals. This is a team that got Alexander Ovechkin back in their lineup now after he was away for a short period of time due to some personal reasons. But he's now back in the lineup. I think he changes the way this team plays. And I feel like their schedule coming up that's a little bit lighter against teams like the Sharks that just sold off a big player, the Ducks, even the Kings aren't playing as well. The Islanders are on tap, a team that I think is beatable for this Capitals team. After a really rough stretch, after a tough losing streak, I believe this is the time to get on the Washington Capitals. We will get some good prices with them. I'm buying the Washington Capitals heading into this betting week. And speaking of the San Jose Sharks, the San Jose Sharks are my sell team for this week here, guys. I don't like to overreact to a big trade too much, but I guess in some instances you have to. Timo Meier was just traded yesterday from the San Jose Sharks to the New Jersey Devils. This is a guy that every single game, his shots on goal prop was 4.5. What does that tell you guys? Well, this guy was averaging 5, 6, 7, 8 shot attempts per game. Now that he leaves that team, Somebody has to fill that void, and I believe that will take some time for that to happen. And you look at the San Jose Sharks schedule, it's not too friendly moving forward. The Blues, the Jets, the Avalanche, the Capitals that I just spoke about, to me, this is a San Jose Sharks team that we will be able to make some money betting against in the near future, especially if they end up moving Erik Karlsson as well. But the San Jose Sharks are on my list to fade this week in the National Hockey League. Those are my two teams, guys. We're buying the Capitals and we are selling the San Jose Sharks. Carm, I hope you're with me on those opinions.
Andrew, I like the Sharks one. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't like the Washington one, but it's not because it's wrong. It's for selfish reasons. It's completely selfish because I want Washington to lose as many games as possible because I have a futures bet on them not making the playoffs. And of course, if they don't make the playoffs, it's just one less team in the way of hopefully the Buffalo Sabres making the playoffs. So selfish reasons has me cheering against you on this one. I apologize, but it is pretty much a marshmallow schedule for the Washington Capitals, at least for the next 3 games or so, where they should pick up wins.
And I'm really hoping that losing streak that they were on will help us get some decent odds in their games this week. We'll see how that plays out, though. But again, it's $9 Monday. We're jumping into best bets here, Carm. What do you have here for us on this $9 Monday for your clients?
Yeah, the 3 soccer plays, 2 of them this afternoon, 1 tonight, an MLS returned the first week back, and then 4 plays NHL, 2 plays and 2 prop bets. So let's see if we can continue that good run. NHL has been great, so take advantage of that. I think it's the PT 100 prop and get the rest coupon. You can get the rest of the NHL season. Andrew, my player prop, I'm going to go to the Edmonton and Boston game. I'm going to take the Edmonton boy, Jake DeBrusk. Born in Edmonton, obviously drafted by the Bruins. Over 2.5 shots, minus 145. He's gone over this total 8 of his last 10 games. I'm sure he's going to have some family out there being born in Edmonton. And let's make him happy. Get some shots on goal. Get at least 3. Make it happy. Let's give everybody a winner. And let's start the week with a player prop winner. That's my show best bet.
Awesome stuff, Carm. Keep up that great run, man. You are rolling right now in the NHL. Of course, Carm has some soccer action going today. Also, it's $9 for all those plays at wagertalk.com. I'm in action as well. I'm looking forward to this week for college basketball. It's going to be a really, really fun week as far as the hoops plays are concerned. Of course, NHL tonight, it might be a small schedule, guys, but it's going to be a profitable one. At least we can hope. I do have some plays and one strong one going up after this show. So you check that out. Again, it's only $9. I do not like that my best bet is a play that Carm doesn't like because he's been doing so well. But I am going with the Colorado Avalanche for my best bet here on the show. Besides one down game that they had, they are on an unbelievable win streak as far as, all their top players performing. And like I said, I don't always focus on just 1 or 2 players doing so well. But right now with this Avalanche team, when they've got players like McKinnon and Rantanen putting up 4 or 5 shots a game, scoring 4 goals their last handful of games each, and even guys, down the lineup contributing, to me, this is a time that I want to look at betting on them. Alexander Georgiev has played very well too, especially at home. So the Colorado Avalanche are my best bet for the show today. Carmine, again, with those great shots on goal props, he has Jake DeBrusk from the Boston Bruins over 2.5 shots on goal at minus 145, and I have Colorado minus 140. Let's start this week off with a bang here. Let's go for a 2-0 sweep. We thank all of you guys for tuning in and watching us here on Puck Time. And on behalf of Carmine, I'm Andrew. We'll see you tomorrow.
How do you like to finish the college basketball season paying under $30 per week? Between now and Selection Sunday on March 12th, there's still tons of regular season college basketball action to go. Plus, all the conference tournaments and Wager Talk and Sports Memo are announcing their March Madness Bonanza special that will include the rest of the college basketball regular season, conference tournaments, NCAA tournament through the national championship, and any plays released in the NIT or CBI tournaments. That's right, from Monday, February 27th through Monday, April 3rd, there are 5 full weeks of hoops action, which breaks down to under $30 per week. Sign up for this promotion now on your favorite handicappers homepage and get the rest of the college basketball season through the national championship in Houston on Monday, April 3rd, plus all non-March Madness tourneys, including the NIT and CBI, all for only $149. That's under $5 a day for one of the best betting experiences in sports. Some call March Madness the most exciting time in sports betting, so act fast as the March Madness Bonanza Special is only available for a limited time. Grab your favorite college basketball handicapper, or perhaps add 2 or 3 college hoops experts to make this March Madness not only exciting, but also profitable. No coupon is needed, just head to the homepage of the handicapper of choice and lock the $149 price in now. As the earlier you sign up, the more days you receive.